Welcome back to the PawnStorm YouTube channel. I will be showing you some more games that I played here. These are both online games. I'm going to be showing you a few games today. All of them are online games. These first few games are all rapid games. And here in this first game, I'm playing with the black pieces. And so I'm going to just flip the board just for ease of use. And my opponent goes e4. I go d5. He takes. And I take back with the queen, and we have knight to c3. I've been playing a lot of the Scandinavian recently, just because my opponents always go e4, and I like to experiment with different ideas with the Scandinavian. So after knight to c3, the main thing is queen to a5, and then d4 is white played, and I played knight to f6, bishop d2, and bishop to f5. Now the main idea for me is I want to either go knight to c6 right away, or I want to bring my queen back if I'm attacked. Now bishop to d3 is played, so I want to trade because this doubles my opponent's pawns, and this is good for me. And then I go knight to c6, and knight to e4 is played, and I do not want to take because then that undoubles the pawns. So my opponent doesn't even take, so here my opponent could have taken, and if they would have taken, then we would have had this position, and it's fine for me. It's okay. It's not preferable, but it is doable. Okay, but that did not happen. So they went f3 instead, which I was not expecting. But let me just go back here. Okay, so f3, and then I just took. I did not have to take, but whatever. It's fine. Yeah, if I wouldn't have taken, I probably would have just taken the pawn. But, okay. So we have f takes e4 and then queen takes d4. So I do take it. But then I just drop back. Knight to f3, h6, castles, and I long castle here. Basically, with a long castle, I'm going after that pawn there with the queen. And then I can open up my dark square bishop pretty much any time. And get in there also with my knight. My king is fairly well protected, but then my opponent goes a3. e5 is what I chose here, just to open up my dark square bishop. b4, queen takes d3 now, and we have a queen trade, and my opponent took here, which I was not expecting that, because this opens up a lot of different ideas for me, okay? So first of all, I can take here. They take back. That's one idea. Second idea is I can take here. They can take here, or I take here. They take here, which is what happened. So I took here, and they take on c6, and then I take b takes c6, rook takes f7, and I just do this, and I'm going to very easily win the pawn. I take here. Some of you might be asking why I take here, why I don't take there, but then rook takes a7, and I just didn't like that. So I took here, and then I took the pawn, and I brought my rook down, and then rook to f3, rook to d7, and my opponent played a6, which is fine. I just want to move my king now, so I go king to b8. a7 check, I just move my king, and now there's pretty much no way of getting in there with the rooks and stopping, because then I can just push the pawn, and I can fairly easily win it with my rook and my king. But my opponent goes h4, and I go c6. Now, the idea behind c6 is I just wanted to open up this pawn was blocking, but now I just open up this square for my rook, and now both my king and my rook are attacking the pawn. But now we have rook f to a3, and I play c4 to attack the rook. My opponent goes rook to a6, which is totally fine. Bishop to c5 check. I did not have to give this check, but I just the main reason I gave this was I was just gonna go bishop to c5 anyway, but my opponent was attacking this pawn actually on b6, so I wanted to defend it. So that's why I went bishop c5 check. King h1, rook to c8 now, and rook to c8. Basically, all it's doing is just setting up this move. Okay, so I have these rooks and the king there. So rook c1, and I just push the pawn. Notice that I push the pawn, it's defending here. This rook is defending. This rook is attacking. The king is attacking. The bishop is attacking. I can bring the other rook. It's still defending, but it can still attack. I still have all these pieces. All the pieces are playing a part, which is this is why I like my position very much, because I was using all of the pieces to their biggest advantage. Rook to f1 is played, and now we trade. I take with the king. I did not have to take with the king. I could have taken with the bishop. It was fine, but I took with the king, and he gave me a check, and then he took the pawn, and I pushed, and this was kind of a weird move. He played h5, which I was not expecting. Here he could have just taken with the rook, and then he was attacking this pawn, but he instead goes here, and I stopped the pawn, and this, okay, so I did not have to trade, obviously. I could just take the pawn. So not perfect play by my opponent, but certainly not, not horrible. And here he resigned because I secured his rook to his king, and he's gonna lose his rook, and then I'll be able to very easily promote those pawns. Now, that was game number 1. That was over in 44 moves. But then we played another game, and I played with the white pieces, and actually I gained some rating here. So I started this game, I was 1131, and I ended this game at 1139. Okay, so that was that, and my opponent dropped down to 1092. Okay, so that was game number 1. Let's see how game number 2 went. Okay, so for game number 2, I'm playing with white pieces, so let's flip the board again. I have this one last game here. I believe I have 2, and then 2 blitz games after this. So this is the second out of 2 rapid, and then 2 blitz. Now I was playing with the white pieces, and here I decided to just go with d4. My opponent goes d5. I play c4, which is pretty much the only thing I know how to play with the white pieces with d4. c6, and I just go for a Catalan. My opponent actually just lets me set up a whole Catalan here. I castle, they castle, I go bishop to f4, and now I just close down. So whenever my opponent lets me go this far, it's usually a good idea to just shut down the position in the middle and just close it down completely, because I already have my dark square bishop out. My light square bishop is already fianchettoed. I can bring my knight out, and it's probably just a good idea to just close down the rest of the position. So my opponent goes knight to h5, which is fine. I just go bishop to e5. And here I thought I was like trapped or something, but then I just go here, and my opponent goes rook to e8. I go rook to e1. And the point of rook to e1 is I want to set up the eventual e4 pawn push eventually in the center. Now, there are a couple of things going here for me. One of them is this move, as you know, is g4, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, might just trap that knight over there. Let's see. If I wouldn't have played rook to e1, I would have played this, and then I believe their knight is just trapped. So that was a possibility. I did not see that move, unfortunately, in this game, but that was definitely a possibility that I could have played. Now, rook to e1 is what I chose, and then my opponent goes b6, which is fine. They're trying to chip away at this center here, and I go e4 now. B takes e5, d takes e5, knight to e5. I take, f takes e5, e takes, and e takes d5, and then rook to b1. Now, the computer actually likes knight takes d5, sacrificing the knight, which is interesting. I'm not sure why, but there must be some reason why. Knight to f6, though, and I'm guessing the computer probably doesn't like it anymore because the knight can just take back. b4, and here he's pushing these pawns, which when he was playing this, I was like, am I missing something about this position? Like, why is he doing this? But no, it was fine so far. Knight to d7, though. And here he opens up a discovered attack on my knight, so I go queen to c2. Queen to c2, looking back on it, and even after I played it, I was looking at this move after I played it, and I was like, probably not the best choice. I could have just gone queen to d2, but whatever. Yeah, whatever. But this happens, and he goes here, which is interesting. I just take, and he takes that, and then I take here, and we trade. And he goes bishop to f5. So right now I'm thinking, okay, so the evaluation is probably like, after this, and he doesn't take, and he goes bishop to f5, the evaluation is probably like, I don't know, plus 2.2, maybe, somewhere around plus 2, probably. Just because, well, I mean, just look at the position. I mean, he didn't take the pawn. He could have taken the pawns. He didn't have to move that bishop. And now I have those 2 passed pawns. Right, 2 passed pawns. And I go b7, and I go c7 after rook a b8, e3. That doesn't stop me at all. I just take with it, make a queen, okay, and this rook takes e3, and my opponent resigned for a second time, and that brought me up to 1150, which is my highest rating so far in this challenge, in this whole rating climb series, and that brought my opponent down to 1185. But yeah, so 1150 is my highest rapid rating to the day, so it's pretty nice. And I have not played a rapid game since then. This was on the 12th, and I'm recording this on the 16th, so it's been 4 days. Normally I would wait about this long, but I don't know how long I'm gonna wait since getting this far. Now let us move on to the first of the last two blitz games to finish off this video. Now for this first blitz game, I'm playing with the black pieces, so let me flip the board, and e4, d5, and we have pretty much the same position we had before, queen a5, and now my opponent goes a3, which I don't think I've ever seen that before in a blitz game in a Scandinavian, but you know, this is the first time for everything. Knight to f6, bishop to f5 is what I go for here, d4, knight c6. Usually, one thing I learned here was if they go this move d5, which is, I guess, a common thing, I can just castle, right? Can't take because of this. So that was just one good thing I picked up from learning this opening and stuff. But here they go bishop b5, I go queen to b6, bishop to e3, and I bring the bishop back just because I don't want to wreck my pawns there. I don't want to have to take with the pawn. And a4 is what my opponent chose, and I go queen to b6, and they just give up a piece, which is kind of interesting. I guess it's a new tactic I've never seen. It's called what's it called? It's like, I don't know. I think they're just calling blunders new tactics now. I don't know, because they just give it away. Castles, and I long castle, and they just give away pawn, which is nice. Bishop takes, rook takes, and this is fine for me because, I mean, you know, sure, I lost a rook, but I have two pieces for it, so it's fine. Queen to g4, queen e6, check, I take with the rook, I just move my king to a7, c3, and at this point I'm getting kind of low on time, so I have to watch it, right, because I'm playing with the black pieces. There's a lot of things I'm having to think through here, and I still haven't even moved that rook really at all from either g8 to h8. Those are the only two places I moved it to, so I have to watch my time because I'm getting kind of low here. Knight takes d4, and knight to e4. Okay, I go b6, bishop takes, check, I go king to b7, and knight c5, bishop takes, d takes. Notice I'm playing, you know, kind of a little bit weirder. But after rook to b2, he won on time, so I lost this game on time just because I was trying to think it out, and I was spending too much time for that. So that game I lost, but then let's move on to game number 2, and let's see how we do. Okay, so for this last game, I'm again playing with the black pieces, so yeah, I know we've had 3 games with black pieces, 1 with the white pieces, but I'm just trying to show you the games. So here, my opponent goes e4, d5, we have a Scandinavian again, and I go queen a5, d4, and I go knight to f6, so basically, my idea here is the same thing I wanted to do with the last Scandinavian game, which is the same setup I always do against this position. Bishop to f4, bishop f5, knight to f3, knight c6, bishop to d3, and I long castle. And here my opponent takes, and I take the bishop. And here they castle and give up their bishop, so that's kind of nice of them. And then they go here, and I go here, and they hang their queen, so I take their queen, and they take back with the rook. I go b6, knight to d5, they take with the rook. I go here. My idea here is basically, this isn't necessarily a good spot for my bishop, Okay, so it doesn't have very good vision, but it does block this rook, as you notice here. The rook doesn't have a lot of mobility. It can always sacrifice itself for the bishop, but that would just be a bad move. But yeah, that's the whole idea, basically, just to stop the rook from getting any closer into my position. B3 is what my opponent chooses to play, and I go rook to e8, and basically I just want to go e4. So c4, they let me do it. They go knight to d4. I go here. We trade, and here I have mate in 1, just clear as day. But apparently for me it's clear as mud because I don't see it. They take here, knight takes a 7 check. I go king b8, knight to b5, and still apparently is clear as mud because I don't see it again. Okay, so just very easy, mate in 1 right there, but I don't see it. Instead, queen takes. We have a trade of minor pieces, and then rook to e1, knight, queen takes e6, and also that move protects my pawn, so that's kind of nice. So f3, e takes, rook to e8 check. They hang their rook, and they resign. Okay, so that took about 2 minutes to go over because it was a very short game, 25 moves long, but I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. So that was the final game. So we went over 2 rapid games today and 2 blitz games. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoy the videos on the channel, be sure to subscribe and check out the 10-minute videos, 10-minute opening beginner videos on my channel. I have a good number of them now, and they're made for all beginners, so beginner friendly videos. And again, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next video. See ya.